When we were married about a year, John asks, "Are you ready yet?" "No," I exclaim. We get Sam, a cat. 6 months later, the same question. We get Herman, a dog. But I can no longer put off my husband. He is 33 and I am 25. He wants a baby now. How can I tell him that I'm scared? Not the ordinary kind of scared that engulf most first-time parents. I am terrified. I'm not a first-time mom. I'm a sinner. I committed the most heinous crime. I gave up my child for adoption. It's 8 years since I gave up my son. I am absolutely sure that I will be punished with the wrath of God. I am so sure that when his sperm meets my egg, lightning will strike my uterus. My whole body will go up in smoke. The baby will have the most hideous birth defects this world has ever seen, all because of what I did when I was 17. It's August 8th, 1964. Joe is 25. I still have the fairy tale notion that I will find a prince who will treat me like a princess. If I had been a confident girl, one with boundaries and solid with self-esteem, I would have refused his ride. But I wasn't, and I didn't. I romantically envisioned Joe showing up for our first date in some kind of chariot. He shows up drunk in an old car with a hole in the floor, one door tied shut with a wire. I willingly get in, rain peppering me through the window that would not close. As the evening progresses, Joe gets drunker. At the drive-in, he pushes me down. "No!" I shout. He doesn't seem to hear me. I never had sex before, and I'm not sure what happened. I stumble to the ladies' room, and yes, I am broken. My cycle has always been very reliable, between 28 and 30 days, and when it gets to be 35 days and nothing happens, I start to panic. When Joe calls to arrange a date, I tell him I'm late. He says, "We'll talk about it at 7:30 when we are to meet." He never shows, ever. My girlfriends say to buy Humphrey 11 pills. They're supposed to bring on your period. Then I hear quinine pills will do the trick. I walk alone to the drugstore to buy them. I'm embarrassed and ashamed. They don't work. I talk with my girlfriends about abortion, but none of us know how to get one. We hear that you can go to Puerto Rico, but you have to pay $600. I keep playing hooky from school. I just can't concentrate. When I finally tell my parents, my father says, "Don't you know that a woman can run faster with her skirt up than a man can with his pants down?" I quit school. I visit the priest who tells me adoption is the only option. I arranged to go to St. Martha's Residence, home for unwed mothers in Newark. At home, we pretend that my belly isn't growing bigger. This isn't really happening. I can't understand why my mother won't talk to me about this when she went through the same thing. In 1938, when she was 22 and unmarried, she got pregnant and had to run away from home. She told no one. All by herself, she had my sister Lois and gave her up for adoption. 25 years later, she watches me go through the same thing, but says nothing. How is this possible? At St. Martha's, I'm with other women, and we share the same shame, and we find strength in each other's company. Each night, we sit around telling stories of our past and our hopes for the future. We don't discuss the pain that is to come, or what to expect with labor and delivery. We've heard horror stories about the girls who went before us, about the mean nurses at the hospital. No joy will be found in this birth. When the baby is born, I spend 2 days with him, counting 10 baby toes and 10 baby fingers on his perfect baby body. I tell him how much I love him. I keep his first baby picture, and I feed him, and I name him Paul Joseph. On the 3rd day, I say goodbye to that sweet baby boy. Mom and Dad finally come to pick me up to sign the papers. On the way home, we stop for drinks. 8 years later, when I am 25, my husband and I have no problem conceiving. Every occurrence around this pregnancy and birth stands in vivid contrast to the one before. John reassures me that this time I will not be alone, and I'm not. We go to classes together to learn about every step of delivery and birth. At 17, when my water broke, I didn't even know what happened. No one ever told me what was going to happen. The nuns don't explain a thing. They just call a cab to take me to the hospital alone. At 25, I choose my doctors carefully, making sure that they're well-versed in natural childbirth and will allow me to nurse my new baby on the delivery table. At 17, I had to use the doctors that charities picked for me. Natural childbirth was not an option, and before I knew it, I was heavily drugged for the birth. At 25, John coaches me in Lamaze and never leaves my side. At 17, each contraction, experienced alone, magnified my pain and sorrow. My new in-laws and everyone I know gathers to shower me and my new baby with gifts. Even people I don't know well send presents to celebrate this new life. I joined La Leche League to learn how to breastfeed and welcome this new baby into our family. On the day of delivery, John drives me to the hospital. We talk to each other and connect before we experience this ancient rite of birth. After 7 hours of labor, she arrives. No devil child was born that day. She's a perfectly beautiful, sweet baby girl. She comes bounding into the world smiling. We call her Eva.